Brother, I don't need my book, right?
No. Clerk, I'm going to call to order the council meeting of July 19th. Could you call the roll?
A quorum is present for the City Council, Successor Agency, Housing Authority, and the Joint Powers Authority.
Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Any persons wishing to make a comment for the open session for agenda items may call 888-251-2949 or 215-861-0694 and use this access code for today, July 19th, 206-3414, pound. Wait 3 seconds and press pound again. Again, the access code is 206-3414, pound. Wait 3 seconds and press pound again. Operator, are there any callers on the line?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead.
If you wish to make a public comment, please press pound 2 on your telephone keypad. We have a couple of comments in the queue.
Go right ahead.
First caller, please go ahead. Your line is unmuted.
Hello. Hello, my name is Allison Christie. I'm calling with Better Neighbors Los Angeles, calling to comment on the proposed short-term rental ordinance on the agenda today. Better Neighbors LA has made multiple public comments now about short-term rentals in Inglewood, and we still believe that the best way to protect housing is to not allow unhosted stays or vacation rentals. However, because the council is likely moving forward with this ordinance, I think it's also important that the necessary resources and investments for successful enforcement are fully understood. To enforce this ordinance, the city will need a team specifically to review and approve STR application permits. Additionally, this team should periodically be inspecting STR properties to ensure that the information provided on the application about ownership, primary residence, and other qualifications are still accurate. Furthermore, the department should establish a task force to field and respond to complaints that may arise from neighbors of short-term rentals. Neighbor complaints will be one of the best ways to identify illegal short-term rentals, so it's important that the city respond to them and take action accordingly. I also just want to highlight the City of Los Angeles' similar ordinance that allows unhosted short-term rentals and how it includes a wide variety of enforcement mechanisms to ensure that hosts are following the law. However, it is not enough just to authorize enforcement. The City of Inglewood must invest resources into enforcing their home sharing ordinance for it to be truly effective and protect housing in the way that the city wants to. Thank you for your time.
And I just want you to know, ma'am, that we agree with you, and if this passes, then we will be setting up a division to oversee short-term rentals. So we agree on that. Operator, next caller.
Your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Maki Peters, and I'm calling in regards to the healthcare worker minimum wage ordinance. I just wanted to speak on behalf of healthcare workers who, as myself, formerly a healthcare worker, I know how hard the work is. They work really long shifts, harder than ever now through the pandemic, at tremendous personal sacrifice, and many of them have gotten COVID. Their loved ones have gotten COVID. Many have even lost loved ones to this, and it's unconscionable for them not to be making a living wage. For people who are fully employed and working in healthcare, they should not be struggling, living in cars, living in shelters, or couch surfing. These are our healthcare heroes. We called them heroes throughout the pandemic. We need to treat them as such and give them, fair wages that are in line with the hard work that they do and the risks that they have taken to serve our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Operator, any other callers?
Yes, sir.
Next caller, please go ahead.
Yes, hi, my name is Gabe Montoya, and I am an EMT for LA County. Been an EMT in the LA County for 17 years now. And I want to talk about the fact that healthcare workers deserve a fair living wage in the city of Inglewood. At a time when healthcare workers are continuing to work to get us through this pandemic, facing the risk that their families also face when their loved ones go to work as healthcare workers, we should be paying these workers a living wage. At a time where healthcare workers in Inglewood often have to choose between putting gas in their car and food on their table for their loved ones, we need to stand with healthcare workers and pass this as an ordinance. At a time when healthcare workers often have to work more than 2 jobs a day in order to make ends meet in this field, we need to stand with healthcare workers and pass this as an ordinance. At a time when many of my brothers and sisters in healthcare often have to sleep in parking lots and parking structures between shifts in order to save money on gas and in order to get some sleep for their 60-hour work weeks where many work 2 jobs in order to make ends meet in healthcare, we need to stand with healthcare workers and pass this as an ordinance. This job carries some special risk and some special emotional attachment, and I think it's time that we stop calling us healthcare heroes and start treating us like such. And so I ask the City Council today to pass this as an ordinance, stand out with healthcare workers who have taken care of this community and have taken care of patients in the city of Inglewood today. Thank you.
Thank you, Operator. Any other callers?
Yes, sir. We have 9 other callers in the queue.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Please make sure your device is not set on mute. Let's go to our next caller. Your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Distinguished members of the City Council and Mr. Mayor, my name is Fred Ortega. I'm the Senior Director of Government Relations for Prime Healthcare representing Centinela Hospital. And I wanted to start by thanking the people of Inglewood and the City Council for the amazing partnership that has grown between Centinela Hospital Medical Center and the community over the past 100 years. This partnership was never as important as it was evident over the past 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic, as together we provided education, screening, vaccines, and treatment to thousands of our friends and neighbors. Together, we've emerged stronger from this pandemic, and we look forward to partnering with the community for many years to come. We would like to thank the Council for requesting an economic analysis to better understand the proposed unequal pay measure for certain healthcare workers at certain healthcare facilities, and I emphasize certain on purpose. We understand city staff has noted that there isn't ample time to conduct a report, and due to this, we strongly urge the Council to refer this measure to the ballot. There are many unintended consequences that can result from this flawed policy, and it is critical that we analyze its impact on the city, workers, healthcare providers, and economy as a whole. If the city cannot do that, then the Council cannot make an informed decision. The truth is, this measure picks winners and losers among essential workers, even among healthcare workers themselves. We all agree that our healthcare worker heroes deserve a living wage, but this is not the right approach. It is an uneven approach. Voters in Inglewood should be given the opportunity to better examine this measure over the next few months to determine ultimately if this policy is right for their community. Please refer the measure to the November ballot. In the meantime, as a community partner and organization dedicated to serving the Inglewood community, we stand ready to work with members on important issues that impact Inglewood. Thank you for your time and allowing me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, sir. Operator, next caller.
Please go ahead. Your line is unmuted.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, Mayor Butts and the members of the Inglewood City Council. My name is Keisha Stewart, and I'm calling to urge you all to please vote and stand with healthcare workers on the minimum wage initiative as if your life depended on it. As a former healthcare worker and mother of three, it was really hard for myself to take care of my family on $16 an hour. Healthcare heroes, healthcare workers deserve a livable wage, and I urge Inglewood to follow suit with Los Angeles and with Downey and pass this as an ordinance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Next caller.
Please go ahead.
Hello, City Council members and Mayor. My name is Denise. I'm calling on behalf of the Los Angeles County Business Federation, also known as BizFed. BizFed is an organization that represents over 220 other business organizations, and they represent over 450,000 employers in the LA County area, including in Inglewood. We're calling in opposition to the healthcare worker mandatory minimum wage increase. As some of the previous callers have noted, a lot of our concerns have to do with the fact that the vast majority of healthcare workers in the county and in Inglewood would not actually be affected by this increase. It would just create an unequal pay system, and it would disenfranchise a lot of the small community clinics, the federally qualified healthcare centers that tend to serve the most disenfranchised in the neighborhoods in Los Angeles County. In addition, as the previous caller noted, we also really want to encourage an economic analysis and to have this sent to the ballot to really understand the full impacts to the healthcare system at this time. And we respectfully ask that you do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Operator, next caller.
Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Adina Tesler, and I'm here on behalf of the Hospital Association of Southern California. We represent 180 hospital members and 35 health systems, all with the common goal to improve the operating environment for our hospitals, our workers, and to strengthen the health of the communities we serve. I'm here today to urge you to place the proposed healthcare minimum wage initiative on the ballot so that voters can decide. This measure is deeply flawed, inequitable, and unfair, and it puts the council in the role of choosing winners and losers among the healthcare workforce. As an organization that represents facilities that are both included and excluded by the measure, we have serious concerns about the sudden impact of wage increases applied arbitrarily across a workforce so that workers doing the same job at different locations do not get the same wage. We know this will cause significant staffing shortages and recruitment problems in a workforce that is already struggling from the impact of the pandemic. We're also concerned for some of our members who may be forced to close their doors or reduce services to comply with the sudden increase, both of which would directly negatively impact the residents of Inglewood. We all agree healthcare workers are heroes, but this measure is not the way to say thank you. In fact, according to our research, the proposed measure would exclude workers at 73% of healthcare facilities in Inglewood. New research has found that 63% of healthcare workers who make under $25 an hour would be excluded from this measure. That is well over a majority and just doesn't seem fair. The analysis also found that the proposed measure would increase salary expenses for the covered facilities in Inglewood 9.2%, costing approximately $8.6 million, many of which are still reeling from the impacts of the pandemic. This measure is far more complicated than it lets on, and HAC strongly urges the City Council to refer it to the ballot. While City staff has indicated there isn't enough time to conduct an economic analysis, voters should have the opportunity to fully examine and understand the potential implications of such a measure, and they deserve the chance to have the final say in whether the City of Inglewood should implement this. I truly appreciate the opportunity to share our concerns with you, and we stand ready to work with the city on any issues impacting our members or the care they provide to the people of Inglewood. Thank you for your time.
Ma'am, could you give an example of some workers that are not covered by the initiative?
So the initiative targets private healthcare facilities and healthcare systems and dialysis clinics. Anybody working at a FQHC community clinic, a public hospital, a Planned Parenthood clinic, a home care facility that is not associated with a private hospital does not get this benefit.
Okay. Thank you very much. Operator, next caller.
Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. This is Natasha Williams from SEIU UHW. I am a healthcare worker, and I am urging you to please stand in favor of the $25 an hour minimum wage. This is so important to our members as they have faced a pandemic and as we are still dealing with members who are living in their cars, facing homelessness, not able to take care of their kids, while on one side the employers are trying to raise the amount of health care to healthcare workers and also not keeping up with inflation to raise the wages for healthcare workers. And then on top of that, calling us heroes without any type of bonus during a pandemic. Not to mention that, if you want to mention the California Hospital Association and what's not fair, look into the executive compensation. Why are the executive CEOs making millions and billions of dollars a year, and then the workers that are working in service not able to even take care of the regular means for their families? This is really the beginning of something that is greater. And yes, right now it is dealing with the private sector. However, if things work out, there will be more people who want to work in healthcare in these positions to continue to take care of their families and their communities and the world as we know it in healthcare. Please, please, I urge you to stand in favor of the $25 an hour minimum wage.
Thank you, ma'am. Next caller.
Please go ahead. Your line is unmuted.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor Butts and members of the City Council. My name is Myra, and I am also a healthcare worker. Today, I urge you to vote to get the Healthcare Minimum Wage Initiative passed as an ordinance. Other cities have passed this ordinance, and we hope that you stand in solidarity with these workers. What baffles me is, why is the Hospital Association suddenly so present now? Why are the CEOs of these companies all of a sudden have a solution to the crisis that we've been dealing with? They now all of a sudden have better ways of addressing this crisis. Obviously, they weren't present before, and the only reason why they are present now and speaking of is because we're going into their pockets for something that is deserving. You cannot, I'm going to give you an example to everyone. You cannot have an EBS housekeeping employee making $16 an hour to clean up isolation rooms, COVID rooms, trauma rooms, you name it, for $16. These people, these employees, these members, these humans will go elsewhere to work to a city where this initiative already passed for $25. Healthcare is having a crisis with retention. What's the plan to retain these employees at the wages that they have now? If this $25 minimum wage does not pass in our city, these employees will go elsewhere to LA County, or better yet, how about quitting the healthcare industry and going to work at a place where they are paying what they should be worth, at least $20 to $25. So now I want to know what the Hospital Association and all these CEOs, what's their plan and what's their better way to fix this, because you guys haven't been present for 2 years and you will not be. Once and this is tabled on, you guys will disappear and go on to the past and put this in the back burner. So stop making excuses. Stop making flyers that are lies. That's all it is. It's lies. You guys play with words. You fix things to make and confuse the voters, and that is wrong. How can you go to bed thinking that you guys are living a rightful life and being good to your healthcare workers, so-called heroes? Really? You want to go to bed and say, oh, our heroes, we thank you for everything you did? Go to bed thinking like all you guys do is put lies on these flyers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Next caller.
Please go ahead. Your line is unmuted.
Hi, Mayor Butts and members of the City Council. My name is Elisa Underwood. I, too, am a healthcare worker at Kaiser Permanente. I am a phlebotomist, and I concur with my fellow brothers and sisters. Myra, thank you for that, what you just said. I urge the members of the council and you, Mayor Butts, to vote to pass this ordinance. Healthcare workers, we suited up. We showed up. We went to what we described as a war zone during the pandemic, knowing that we were putting ourselves and our family members at risk. We lost quite a few healthcare workers in the process, along with family members. And we are losing them. We lost them either through death or through stress. Folks are not wanting to continue in the healthcare field. Quite frankly, folks are saying they can get paid more at Target, right, without being subjected to the stress of short staffing, the thought of catching COVID and bringing it home to their loved ones. And so I urge you all to vote this ordinance in. Many of us, we're here, we're on this call for those healthcare workers who don't make the kind of money we make. We're here on this call for our brothers and sisters who are really struggling through this time. And we urge you, and I can't say it enough, urge you, please vote this ordinance for the sake of our community, for the sake of healthcare workers, for the future of the medical field. This ordinance really needs to come to pass in Inglewood. Other cities have voted it in, and don't think it's unfair, by the way. And so I can't express it enough how deserving it is for us so-called heroes. Thank you for your time.
What was your name again, ma'am?
Elisa Underwood. I'm also
a phlebotomist. I remember that. I want to ask you two questions. First of all, a phlebotomist at Kaiser doesn't make $25 an hour?
And I said that I'm standing in solidarity of the.
Oh no, I'm asking. So you do make at least $25 an hour?
I make more than that.
Okay, I would have been. I was going to be shocked if you were telling me phlebotomist. I was going to be outraged. Okay, now, secondly, what would you say to?
No.
What would you say to the caller that said that this doesn't cover public healthcare facilities and it doesn't cover other healthcare workers? I wanted your take on the fairness of that.
So the fairness to me would be to urge those sectors to really take a look at the pay scale and, really, because like my sister Myra just said, the CEOs over at those facilities are making way over $1 million a year, right? So,
Okay.
I would say how fair is
And the second, and I hear you, but I'm saying, why not have included those other sectors, and why not have included public health care facilities? Why not?
And that's not a question. That's not an answer I can give you at this point. I am, like I said, I'm a mirror. I'm a I am a Mayor healthcare worker. I don't really know the answer to
Okay.
that question.
Okay, I
But
get,
I do
I
know
get it. I appreciate that.
and just feel like when they're calling out what's fair, let's call it out. Like you called it out. Let's get down to what's fair.
Okay.
And I don't feel like the CEOs are being fair, right? If people are leaving the healthcare field, Mayor, to go work at Target because they make more at Target, like what is the future of our healthcare system?
Okay.
What is our future?
I thoroughly appreciate you, Ms. Underwood. Thank you. Operator, next caller.
Our last caller in the queue. Your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Elliot Petty. I'm a longtime resident, city of Inglewood.
Hi, Elliot.
I want to say hello to the mayor and the council. How are you doing? So I, too, rise to urge you to pass this initiative as an ordinance. I always love to think of Inglewood as number one, but in this case, I would ask you to make us number three, behind City of Los Angeles and the City of Downey, who has already done this. Excuse me, who have already done this. I was brought to Inglewood long ago. My mother was a healthcare worker at Daniel Freeman Hospital. And, this is a city where, we're in a rebirth, a renewal, headed to great heights. And as much as I want to brag and say I'm here and I'm in this city and we're a part of this, I also want to be able to brag and say that I get my medical services and my healthcare needs and from the best healthcare workers at the best healthcare facilities in the city. And, in California, we have a shortage of nurses and providers and healthcare workers as we do across the country. And, healthcare workers have gone through hell during this pandemic. We've got to work really hard to make sure that we are retaining them, particularly at our healthcare facilities in our community, so that our needs are met in our eventual time of need when we have them. And I would just say, I believe that all workers should be risen to the minimum of $25 an hour. They've all been going through the pandemic, and I think you all can have a say in being able to do that as well. And I would look at, in terms of FQHCs, there's some major evidence that we have in terms of the week that the City of Los Angeles passed this ordinance. Altamed, which is one of the largest FQHCs in Los Angeles County, they then made a public commitment that they want to bring their workers up to $25 an hour by the year 2025, because they recognize they've got to compete for the same pool of workers. They can't be offering lower wages when people can go and work in other healthcare facilities in neighboring cities, or in their case in Los Angeles, in the same city. So I think Inglewood, we've got to be in a place where we can compete, and we've got to make sure that the record-breaking profits that many of the healthcare systems across the state and the country are making, that our workers who have sacrificed so much and have given so much in service of our community, so that they enjoy and share in that success, and so that they remain here to serve our community for the long haul. Thank you.
Elliot, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned the rise in the economy in Inglewood and the things that are happening here. Do healthcare facilities and hospitals actually benefit from an increase in sales taxes and property taxes and ticket taxes? They don't, do they?
They do not. But
okay, like I said, now I can't let you go another 3 minutes. I just want to get some information from you. At the same time, though, healthcare facilities of all types are impacted by inflation. They're impacted by a higher cost for fuel, for supplies. They're impacted by the length of time it takes to get materials through the supply chain. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is, again, since you're talking about a sector that doesn't really rise with the economy, that they're revenues are going to be pretty static based upon the people that come to their facilities. And you do make a point, if they have the best quality employees, they're going to be more attractive. And we agree with you on that. However, do you think it fair that a council of people that have never run hospitals would pick a single sector out in the healthcare industry and make the decision for them as to what they can pay? That's the dilemma that we find ourselves in, particularly since, we're learning more from you on these calls than we had in our data bank. That's why we wanted to have a study, but there's not enough time to do that. So how would you feel if you were running a business and 5 people that have never worked in your business made a decision as to what you could pay? How would you feel about that?
I would feel like I need to listen, and I need to be open and be flexible and be thinking about the future.
Right. And so there have been talks with the groups that you represent, with the administrators of these facilities that would be impacted by this. Have you sat down and talked with them?
I personally haven't had the opportunity, but we certainly love to sit down with the operators and have this discussion, because they can do it on their own as well.
Okay. All right. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Operator, next caller.
Your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hello, Mayor Butts and City Council. This is Yolanda Davidson calling. I was just calling to find out if you guys really had a lot of time to sit down and discuss what's going to happen with the short-term rental situation that we talked about at length for the residents. And also, I believe that this situation you guys are discussing about the hospital, although I do think that Centinela Hospital is not a quality hospital, and that's why they probably should be paying their people more. Maybe it would be more of a quality. I do believe it's something the voters should vote on. I don't think that that's a decision that the city council should be asked to make at this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Davison. Operator, any more callers?
Have a good day.
There are no callers in the queue.
All right, we'll close the call-in. Are there any speakers at the library lecture hall?
Butts, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
Phone
It's
call.
good to
I'm
see
sorry
you
I missed
again,
your phone
sir.
call. I'm requesting 5 minutes.
No, I'm not going to give you 5 minutes.
Not gonna give
But
you
if
5 minutes.
but
Of
if
course
you're
not.
if you're
Then just
interesting
be
at the end of
quiet.
3,
Okay, I got
we'll
a
extend
problem
you.
with putting
Okay? If you're interesting at the end of 3, we'll go at another 30 seconds. Is that fair enough?
Give me a 30. Another 30. All right, because I got problems with the previous issues, but I don't care about that. The problem I got here, Eli Morales. What do you expect? He's gonna be laughing about this shit. Listen. The problem I got is putting my trash bills out of my property tax. Listen, you don't let me evict the people that are living there, do you? You don't let me evict them.
You haven't asked me.
Personal, Mr. Butt, you're my friend, but don't take it personal. This political rhetoric. Okay, you don't let me evict nobody. Morales, especially. Okay, I got a $75 pull-out charge per month, which equates to $900, which equates to $1,800 a year. But guess what? They do 108 pulls per day. So you're telling me that these people should be making with a ting all you guys just have a simple little forklift on the back of a Jeep, or in front of the Jeep, or on the back of a Ford F-150 or General Motors. You're telling me that equates to $500,000 a year? Of course it does. We're in Inglewood. Where else are we going to have those kind of wages? Explain that to me, huh? Which one of you? Morales, just asking you. Morales, because you're the one that's consulted. You're the one that has to consult these contracts with the trash. Tell me why it costs $75 per month. Tell me why. Morales!
But he knows your name.
Yeah, what is the subject that you're talking about, sir? What is the agenda item?
70. It says it cost me $75. The guy to come up here, pull it, and put it on the street. $75 per month. They do 108. Whatever. I canvassed 4 different cities. Okay, this size of this. 108 is the average, so that makes it 108 polls. That puts it right at 18. It cost me $75, $900, $1,800, almost $2,000. Okay, per day, but $2,000 per day. That makes it. What is it?
That
2,000
doesn't
a day goes 10,000.
I think you're right. I
$520,000.
told him to give him 30 seconds. He is entertaining.
Pull the goddamn trash can and put it there. You tell me what, butts? How's that explained? We're in the city of fucking Inglewood, of course. 900,000 people.
Okay, your extra time is up. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You ever see that movie, Broadcast News? I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore. He should audition for that. Okay, are there any other speakers?
Morel, and I am a resident here of Inglewood. I've been here all of my life, gone to Inglewood High School, and I live here. There is a tremendous groundswell that's happening here in Inglewood. It feels really good, right? Like, you guys have done a great job of bringing industry, big business, the stadium, all of that feels good. But that work, I would hate that it be done just in vain and in a bubble, right? So we have these healthcare workers that have worked through the years during the pandemic, no questions asked. They put their lives at risk. They put their families' lives at risk. They were here to serve the community. No questions asked. They were working understaffed and underpaid. And I just think that it's time, like I said, we've done all this fabulous work to bring business and revenue here. We have to make sure that that continues on, right? That we have qualified, we're a city that has qualified, we're retaining workers, we are attracting workers. We want the healthcare system to be premier here, right, for our community and for people that are residents that are living here. So I think that we want to continue to shine because the light is on us now. Let's follow what's already been done in LA, what's been done in Downey, and make this city exactly what it is. So I'm encouraging folks to make the decision here to vote on and establish the minimum wage for healthcare workers here in Inglewood. I think that putting it on the ballot and making it go through November is an undue delay to these workers, and they need to be able to live here in the community that they serve. And we know the rents are going up. We know that the inflation is going up. It's bad. So we want to be able to retain and recruit quality workers, healthcare workers, and allow them to stay here in Inglewood. So thank you, and I encourage you to vote yes.
Thank you again, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is David Mraz. I'm representing healthcare workers, facilities, community clinics, and community-based organizations in opposing the Inglewood unequal pay measure. Plain and simple, this measure picks winners and losers. The measure would set a new arbitrary pay requirement for some healthcare workers in some Inglewood healthcare facilities while excluding the majority of healthcare workers doing the same job in other facilities. For some of those facilities that are excluded, including community healthcare clinics, Planned Parenthood clinics, nursing home, medical care centers, and more, cuts to services and reduced access to care are some of the unintended effects that could hit Inglewood's undeserved and disadvantaged communities. While we recognize city staff has indicated there isn't enough time to conduct a comprehensive economic analysis, we believe that voters should have the ultimate say in whether this unequal pay measure is the right path for Inglewood's community. We strongly urge that the City Council refers this measure to the ballot so that the voters have the ample time to examine thoroughly and vet ahead this November election. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you so much. We through with caller, speakers?
One more caller, man.
Oh, one more.
Speaker, sorry.
Good afternoon, Mayor Butts. Good afternoon, City Council at large of here, the wonderful city of Inglewood. My name is Jorge Cabrera, and I am the representative for SCIU UHW here at Centinela Hospital. Clearly, I'm in support of this measure, and I can speak to and on behalf of the struggle that our members are having. We have over 55% of the unit that is currently under $25. At the rate that the Centinela Hospital wishes to compensate our members, it goes very slow and it doesn't keep up with inflation. So I'm a testament to how many times we have asked Centinela Hospital to adjust the wages accordingly, because it's not a gift, but it's what's right and what's fair because they've earned it. We have an example of a member who is barely at $25 after 50 years on the job at Centinela Hospital. Where's the fairness in that? And I personally have been the hospital representative at Centinela for over a year now. And I can tell you that if Centinela Hospital really wanted to adjust the wages for our members, there's nothing in the contract that prevents them from doing so. I put that in writing, I send them emails, I call them, and we've gone up the chain of command. We've asked the CEO for a meeting, but they refused, right? So it is simply the fairness in recognizing the hard work of healthcare heroes who put their lives on the line, and it's something that Centinela Hospital can afford, absolutely. Now, in regards to the community clinics, I know that some of the community clinics have come against a piece of legislation that would increase state funding for these facilities. So it seems like a facade. It seems like when you are really genuine about recognizing those individuals that make your hospital run and take care of your patients and give you the reputation that you have at a national level, that you would be willing to at least come to the table and try to do that. But as a representative here at Inglewood Hospital on site, Centinela Hospital Medical Center, I can attest to that personally, that they have not done so, and there's no any indication that they're going to anytime soon. These are the facts. I'll be happy to forward any other facts that you may want as to the struggle of our members. This is in conjunction with the retention, with the understaffing, and everything that is really getting to the healthcare worker retention and attraction crisis. Thank you very much.
What was your name, sir?
My name is Jorge Cabrera, Jorge.
Jorge, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So, are you aware of what the hospital's profit margin is and the percentage that they pay the workers for their services? Do you know what percentage Centinela Hospital pays out of its operating budget for its workers?
Well, they haven't given us that information, so.
Okay.
I would love to get that.
Okay, I'm asking these questions for a reason. So you don't know what their profit loss statement is. And so, like, take the city of Inglewood. If somebody passed a law that said we had to pay so much money to our employees, and we didn't have that money, here's what would happen in the city. We would come to the point where we could not make payroll, and then the city would go into receivership, and then a receiver from the state would come here and they would run it, and you know what they would do? They would cut from the biggest allocation of money, and that's 89% goes to salaries. And so then that's what would happen if we had a law that said we must pay so much money. And so the reason I ask these questions is because you're asking us to sit here, not having run hospitals, not knowing what the profit loss statement is for the hospital, not knowing what percentage employees' wages are for the hospital, and then to pass a measure that doesn't even impact every healthcare worker in the city. Do you see anything wrong with that?
Well, Mayor Butts, I wholeheartedly and respectfully disagree with your point of view and with your line of questioning. I think that the proper question is, why is it taking this turnout and all these calls for Centinela to turn out through the hospital association and to at least pay attention to this matter. I think that the proper question would be, what is the living wage, right?
What is what?
They haven't
What
told
is
us
the
that.
living
And I'm very familiar with profits and loss statements. I've had businesses before. I understand what payroll is. But as a business owner myself, I will tell you that I understand that your number one asset is your workforce, right? So in order for them to be better
I
and give
agree
you a
with
better
you
return,
wholeheartedly.
a better return on investment, it would be to treat them accordingly. And of course, at these hard times, you need to have more money because the cost of living in Southern California.
I
is one
agree
of the-
with you
one of the-
wholeheartedly.
Thank you, sir. I will yield. Have a
I
good
think Councilman Morales has a question for you.
Sure.
Well, actually, the mayor actually said he agrees, and that's what I was gonna say. I don't think there's a question that the point you're making, Jorge, what is your last name again? I'm sorry.
Cabrera, C-A-B-R-E-R-A.
I don't think there's a question that what you're saying is absolutely true. There is no question, I don't think, from anyone up here that says, do they deserve more money? I don't think that's a question. I don't think
Without
that
question.
the appreciation that we have for your healthcare workers, I don't think that's a question at all. We're on board. I don't think it's a question of whether you deserve to sit down with someone and speak and have the opportunity to state your case. I don't think that's even a question. I think where the confusion is that the comments we're receiving continue to make an effort to convince us that you do deserve those things, and that is no question to us. I think, just for clarity, the question in front of us is, do we make that decision here about an industry that will be impacted where we don't understand the impact to our city overall? Do we have enough to make that decision? I think that's where we're trying to clarify on our end that's where we're at. So, I have a couple of other comments that I was gonna mention when the time comes up, so I'll wait for that. But that's the truth. So as public comments continue, those are a given of how much we appreciate your union and your workers. So I think that, I just wanted to clarify that, but the mayor, at his last sentence, he actually said he agreed, because we do.
Hey,
Okay, great.
I think everybody working everywhere should make $30 an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah,
I do.
and-
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should have to live in a car. I don't think anybody
Yeah,
should
so-
be wondering if they're going to have enough food.
Yeah,
I
so
totally agree with
it
that.
becomes a kind of a math problem where you make a decision where you make sure you try to balance a budget that makes sense. But for that, we are not in that situation, is what we're telling you. So, just that. So thank you for coming.
Thank you
sir.
very much, and you definitely educated us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more speakers?
No more speakers, Mayor.
All right, we'll close public comment at this time. Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Warrant register.
Move allowed payment?
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, successor agency members, Housing Authority members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye. Madam Clerk, what is the next scheduled matter?
Yes, Mayor. The next scheduled matter is a public hearing to consider the adoption of a resolution making findings, overruling protests and objections, and ordering delinquent sewer fees and refuse charges to be placed on the tax rolls for fiscal year 2021 through 2022.
Brief report, Ms. Quakey. Well, wait a minute, I gotta say a couple things first. Has the notice of hearing been given in the time, form, and manner as required by law? And do you have the affidavit on file?
Yes, Mayor. Notice has been given and an affidavit is on file.
Have any communications been received on the matter?
No, Mayor, no communications have been received.
Okay, now, we'll take your staff report.
All right, thank you. I'm here to present a public hearing to place the outstanding delinquent refuse and sewer charges on the property tax bills for collection. The majority of the Inglewood residents and businesses receive water, refuse, and sewer services from the city, but about a fourth of the residents receive refuse and sewer services only, as water is provided by another outside agency. For this section of the city, there is no mechanism to enforce collection of refuse and sewer fees. The county mandates that refuse and sewer be provided to all residents and businesses for health and safety reasons. Since the sewer be provided to all residents and businesses for health and safety reasons, and the sewer is to be provided to all residents, and the collection of refuse and providing of sewer services is mandatory, the county allows the city to hold property owners liable and place these fees directly on the property tax bill after they have been properly noticed and a public hearing has taken place. As of May 31st, there were 311 delinquent refuse and sewer accounts with charges in excess of $250 and were past due for more than 90 days. The total outstanding amount of these accounts represents $174,374 of uncollected revenue. The proposed 2022 year lien list contains residential single-family, multi-unit apartment buildings and commercial properties. The Customer Service Division of the Finance Department has provided copies of tenants' delinquent utility bill notices to the affected property owners, as well as hearing notices in both English and in Spanish. In past years, the department has worked directly with property owners to resolve the issues concerning their delinquent accounts through the hearing date, and will work with customers to resolve their delinquent balances even after the lien has been submitted to the county. And as of today, the Finance Department has worked with 29 property owners to have them removed from the lien list. And we look forward to any other property owner who wishes to work with the city to resolve their matters.
Thank you very much. Are there any members from the public that wish to comment? Operator, any callers on the line?
If you wish to make a comment, please press pound 2 on your cell phone keypad. Pound 2 will put you in the queue.
Operator?
There are no callers at this time.
All right, we'll check the library lecture hall.
No speakers, Mayor.
All right, we'll close public comment. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move, adopt resolution.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. And move item 3 to direct the city clerk to file necessary
Second.
documents. Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Consent calendar items 2 through 5.
So move.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR1 and H2.
Staff report presenting the fiscal year 2020 through 2021 basic financial statements for the City of Inglewood and the City of Inglewood Housing Authority.
Receive and file. DR2.
Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution declaring the implementation of a Level 2 water supplies shortage measure for all of Inglewood Water Service area residents and businesses.
Move adoption.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR3.
Staff report recommending receiving and filing information related to the changes that will be established for the no parking street signage referencing street sweeping hours.
Receive and file. SPH1.
Staff, Mayor, would you like to take them collectively, or you want me to do?
Oh, that's right. Let's do SPH1 and HPH2, 3, and 4 simultaneously.
Yes, sir. Staff report recommending taking the following actions associated with the Morningside Park Maintenance Assessment District 1974-2, the In-Town Maintenance Assessment District 1975-1, the Inglewood Street Lighting Assessment District 1980-1, and the Darby-Dixon Maintenance Assessment District 1987-1.
Move A, B, and C of all 4.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. 01.
Staff report recommending adoption of ordinance number 22-15, amending Inglewood Municipal Code, Chapter 8, Businesses, Trades, and Professions, and 12, Planning and Zoning, including zoning code amendments 2018-01 to establish short-term rental regulations.
Motion to waive further reading.
Second.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. A1.
There was a closed session item, Mayor and Council, on the name of, what was this? Conference negotiations. The agency negotiator was Jose Cortez. The representative agents, employees, the Inglewood Police Officers Association and the Inglewood Police Management Association. Discussions were held and direction given.
Thank you. A2.
I'm sorry, nothing to report.
All right. CM1.
Thank you, Mayor. No oral comments from the City Manager's office.
Thank you. CC1.
Yes, Mayor. Staff report recommending taking one of the following actions related to the proposed ordinance to establish a minimum wage for certain employees employed to work at or by a privately owned covered healthcare facility located within the city of Inglewood.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment and then make a motion.
Go ahead, Councilman.
So I said few of my comments when the gentleman was at the podium, but I'd just like to reestablish the fact that we are in complete agreement in support of anyone who works their fair share and should be making their fair share. It's just difficult to make that decision about what is their fair share while we're sitting up here with very little information. That being said, on a personal level, I'd like to both encourage, if the hospital has not had their conversations, to where they at least offer up an explanation or a pathway or a future, they should. You know, I firmly believe that any industry owes it to their workers to have that conversation, regardless of where that conversation ends. And the workers should be able to assess whether they're treated fairly and make their choices. That being said, we're not always in a position to be part of that conversation. And I hope that, we see it as a city that, our Sentinel Hospital is our hospital, whether whoever uses it comes or goes elsewhere or whatever that may be. That's an industry where we're fortunate to have a hospital here. And, its impact is important to us. Now, a couple of cities were mentioned where we don't know where they were or whether it's a public hospital within their city when they adopted it, whether they are adopting in a city that has Kaiser, which may or may not be for it. We don't know. There's all these scenarios when the city adopts it. We stand, in a situation that we have to make that decision. So with that being said, Mayor, for me, I would be moving item B, the second choice of putting it on the ballot, and that would be my choice.
Moved by Morales, seconded by Dotson. Comment by Padilla.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I think most all of us have family, relatives that work in this field. And I know I certainly have received phone calls and have met with folks regarding this issue. It's a very interesting situation, and as we stated earlier, we all want to make sure that folks can make money to provide for their family, for their loved ones, to put a roof over their head. But we also are not prepared to do the mandate to send this to folks without us having enough information, I speak for myself also, to really make that decision. And so, I know some of my family may give me a call later and say, what the heck? But again, this is why we're up here on the dais. We have to make the decisions that we truly feel are the best for our community, for our businesses, so that we can continue to strive and trust that we are taking all of that into account. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more comments?
I'd like to make a comment, Mayor.
Councilwoman Fogg.
Thank you. Just want to reiterate what the other council member said. I agree wholeheartedly, and we do support our heroes. We've said that at our last council meeting. We feel strongly that, like Mayor said, everybody deserves to make $30 an hour or more. We just don't have the information here to make a wise decision and to put forth and vote in favor of A, to adopt an ordinance without having that information is reckless. And that's not how we should run this city. That's not going to contribute to the continued success of this city. It would be reckless. And I think that's where we all kind of agree. And because we don't have the facts, we weren't able to get all the facts, all the information before, so that we can really analyze, ask questions, and get a good understanding. I want to thank the mayor. He did ask some very good questions that I would want to ask. And we still didn't get the answers from folks that called in. And so, like I said, to make a decision in favor of A right now without all the facts, it would be reckless. And so I agree with my colleagues that I'm in support of B. Thank you, Mayor.
And Councilman Dotson.
Thank you, Mayor. The one thing that I want everyone in the public to understand, we're making this decision because we just don't have the information to make any other decision. We all agree that people should make a prevailing wage, and that prevailing wage should be as high as the employee can put it. But we can't make a decision on an employee's wage when we don't know what kind of money he's making. Like the mayor said, I don't know what the bottom line is for the hospital. None of us know that. So it wouldn't be fair for us to sit up here and try to do that by telling them they got to make $25 wage as a minimum. So with that, I am in agreement with my colleagues that we just can't vote for A.
Okay. And in closing, I would tell you this, that there's nobody, I think, in this building that has a greater appreciation for healthcare workers than me. Over a year ago, I was in ERs more times than I would care to remember. I appreciate healthcare workers because they were there at times when I'm a person did 37 years in law enforcement, been the mayor the rest of the time. I'm used to being in control. I put my health in the hands of people. And I would think that everybody I dealt with was making $25 an hour. I don't know that. Probably not the guard outside the ER. So the people I dealt with obviously, made more than that. But the bigger issue for us as a society, because it's really even unfair, it looks like this is going to go to a vote, that the public at large, who knows probably less than we do about how hospitals are operated, is going to vote on this. The proper way for this to be resolved, in my opinion, is that the unions and the administration of the hospitals get together and they iron this out. And the reality is, if these other cities have a minimum wage of $25 an hour, it seems there'd be an exodus to these other cities because that's the way the capitalistic system works. And that would eventually either force the entities to match them or match them and go out of business. But that's not a decision that the council or the voters are equipped to make, because we couldn't decide what somebody working in a corner deli should be paid. We couldn't decide what someone working in a mini mart should be paid. We just have, we're not running the business. We don't have to make sure that they meet the bottom line. So I'm going to tell you this, there's nobody that appreciates healthcare workers more than me, and I know the council as a whole admires and appreciates healthcare workers. But this is not something that we have the information to render a judgment sitting here at the dais. So with that, we have a first and a second. Madam City Clerk, could you call the
Councilmem-
roll?
Yes, sir. Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk. Aye. Mayor Buds.
Aye. CC2, oral report, City Clerk.
Yes, sir. Thank you. On August the 2nd, there will be the Inglewood Police Department National Night Out from 5 to 8 p.m. And the city clerk's office will be having a voter registration booth there. So I encourage the residents to mark their calendars for August the 2nd from 5 to 8. Come out and register or re-register if you have to, or if you have any questions, to come out and ask your questions. Leading up to this year, we do have elections coming, and so nomination period is open. If you'd like to file for office, please feel free to contact my office at 310-412-5280 to schedule an appointment. Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my remarks.
Okay, CI1.
Initiative by Councilmember Dion Fogg requesting the rescheduling of the 2022 District 4 Back to School event from on Saturday, August the 6th, 2022 to Saturday, August 13th, 2022 at Crenshaw Shopping Center in District 4, located at 11220 Crenshaw Boulevard, Inglewood, California, 90303.
Move item 1.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg. Aye. Mayor Buds.
Aye. The successor agency is in session. CSA 2.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on June 14th, 2022.
Move
So moved.
approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Successor agency members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg. Aye. Chairman Buds.
Aye. Adjourn the successor agency. The Housing Authority is in session. H3.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on June 14th, 2022.
Move
So
approval.
moved.
Second.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Housing Authority members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. Adjourn the Housing Authority. The JPA is in session. JPA 1.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on June 14th, 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Joint Powers Authority members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. We'll adjourn the JPA. I nominate, Alex Padilla, Councilman Alex Padilla nominates and I appoint Olivia Alvitri to the Aviation Commission. Is there a second?
I second it.
Concurrence, okay. And Councilman Padilla concurs. Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. We're going to go to public comments. Any persons wishing to address City Council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere discussed or referenced may do so now for 1 minute. Operator, are there callers on the line?
If you wish to make any comments, please press pound 2 on your telephone keypad. There are no comments at this time.
Okay, we'll go to the library lecture hall. Are there any speakers at the lecture hall?
No speakers, Mayor.
All right, we'll go to mayor and council remarks. Start with District 1, Councilman Dodson.
Thank you, Mayor.
It's not mandatory to take 3 minutes, but go ahead. Well, I could have done it with you. All right. Go ahead, Councilman.
I want my time back. I want to tell everybody, we had a wonderful Friday event at Benson Park. The Buell Pickett Rodeo Museum, Traveling Museum, came out, and it showed all of how the cowboy got his name, got their name. It was very interesting to me, and it's all about the black cowboy. They were something special. And if you go out to the rodeo and see what they do, you would think so too. We also had pony rides for the children. The mayor and the council was all out there. It was really a wonderful day in the park. So I'm sure we'll probably be doing it another time. And if we do, please take the time to come out and enjoy the park and enjoy the Bill Pickett Rodeo. I also want to congratulate our new business here in District 1. Come on now. Me and the mayor was over to the grand opening, and it is a nice, it's called Coat, Jesus, give me a second here. Have I got time? Got much time? But
It was a co-working space. It basically, you had several different businesses that occupied one workspace, and so that they could split lease costs and the cost of operating their business. The owners were African Americans, and it was beautiful that people are finding ways to cope with the increase in lease space, because as time has gone by, lease costs have gone up, and it was a very nice event.
say it was a cultural hub.
It was a co-working space. I don't remember the name of the business. Culture Hub. It was Culture Hub.
Yes. With that, Mayor, I wish everybody a wonderful day, and be safe.
All right. Councilman Padilla, District 2.
I'll take his extra 20 seconds.
Okay.
That's good. No, you know, I just, again, just to piggyback, the Bill Pickett International Rodeo was a huge event. I got my little grandson up there in the picture. He hung out with me, and he had so much fun. He got to get on the pony rides, and it was just so nice to see our community come out to celebrate. Because you have to understand, the Bill Pickett International Rodeo is about celebrating black cowboys and cowgirls. And you got to just think about what they had to go through and the struggles that they had to have early on. And to be able to have now a traveling museum as part of that rodeo. That museum, that traveling museum, was put together by Toyota. And the first place that that traveling museum came to in the state of California was right here in Inglewood. So, I mean, again, that is just, again, Inglewood is, you know, is the place to be. And so we celebrated this international rodeo and everything it means historically in our community. So I want to thank everyone that came out to get on the pony rides, to see the lassoing exhibition that the cowboys and cowgirls did. And again, it was another great family-filled event. So talk about family-filled event. We have our picnic and chili cook-off coming up on Saturday, August 13th. A change in that schedule. We used to start at noon. We are now starting at 4 p.m., going till 7:30, because at dusk, we're going to transition to a movie in the park. We're going to watch a Disney movie in the park. So come on out, celebrate with us. We're going to have the chili contest. We have right now, I think, 11 or 12 contestants from our community here in Inglewood. So let's see who makes the best chili in the city of Inglewood. The city clerk mentioned National Night Out. It is coming up on Tuesday, August 2nd. It's being put together by the Inglewood Police Department to show solidarity for public safety. It's going to be held right on Gravella, across the street from Inglewood High School. So there's going to be a bunch of different attractions for that night. It's going to start at 5 p.m., go till 8 p.m. One of the things that we're going to bring in, I'm going to be bringing in some classic cars, some antique cars, so it'll be a car show as well. So come on out and support our police department, support our public safety here in the city of Inglewood. Again, Tuesday, August the 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Falk,
Thanks,
District
Mayor.
4.
Thank you, thank you. So a couple of things I want to mention is that I will be having the Back to School Backpack event, and that is happening on August 13th. I want to thank the mayor and council members for supporting my initiative to make this happen. I will have my flyer for the next council meeting, but please put that on your calendar, save the date. We will be giving out free backpacks. We will have games, snacks, and we'll have a few other items and events for the kids to participate in. We will be there from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I'm excited because it's a full day of activities in the city of Inglewood. So you can come to my backpack event, and then you can go on over to Councilman Padilla's cookout, chili cookout for the rest of the night. So a lot of good stuff happening in Inglewood. And then lastly, you see it there, I want to welcome one of our newest businesses, small businesses, to the city of Inglewood, Stinking Crawfish. It is absolutely gorgeous inside. I want to thank the mayor for coming on out and helping me welcome this new business. They are located at the Crenshaw Shopping Center. Their address is 11236 Crenshaw Boulevard. And the food is amazing. So I'm telling you, the next time you want to go out and get some food, some seafood, please go check out Stinking Crawfish. Lovely, lovely, lovely business. And welcome to Inglewood, Stinking Crawfish. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Real quick, if you know, Mr. Atwell, what the new pickup hours are going to be?
I do, Mr. Mayor. They're 7 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay. Before they were
8 to 3.
okay, and so there'll be less time that people have to move their car off the street.
Correct. They'll have more time to keep their car on the street.
And that was led to an increase in the cost of trash service.
Yes, it
because
did.
we have more trucks coming.
Correct.
I just want to make sure everyone was aware that the hours are changing for the convenience of the residents.
Yes, and those times should start because right now the signs are on order, and because of the supply chain for aluminum products has taken a lot longer than usual. We're looking at September to roll out for Mondays only at that time.
Okay.
That was quite the transition from Stinking
Crawfish
Crawfish
to trash.
I was like, did I miss something?
It wasn't even smooth, but I wanted
like
to make
that.
sure that we got that out. I meant to do it.
Man, that was like a commercial. A commercial, they get you and then bam, commercial. Good job, Louis.
Because Dion had everybody's attention.
Well, I'd like to thank Councilwoman Falk for inviting me to the opening of Stinking Crawfish. I never got the invitation, but thank you. I'm sure it was there somewhere. Okay, that'll work.
Okay.
No, I would like to comment, Mayor. It's my turn.
Did I skip you? Oh, yeah, you're right. It's you. Right.
Now, and I don't have anything to say, but now I'm thinking. No, it was just a great meeting. I just wanted to point those things out, and I know the event on Friday was good. I'm sorry I missed it, so hopefully it comes back every year. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, with that, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks,